What's going on, guys? This is Ray, and I'm here with the famous Ted Rubin from Collective Bias. And so, you know, the social shopper, this is the guy, or woman, who has
more than likely
that's right, who has their smartphone or is home, asking questions on Twitter, going on Facebook, going on any other website, and asking questions. What TV should I buy? What blender should I buy? What house should I buy? What car should I buy? And they know more about the product before they get to the salesperson than the salesperson.
You know, Ray, I think it goes deeper than that, and it's a big part of what we do at Collective Bias and why we do what we do. We are a social shopper media company, and what we find is that the best way to get to the consumer is to have genuine conversation around a brand. And yes, a lot of people go online asking very specific questions. They're asking their friends. They're looking for reviews, but they're also reading a lot of content. Blogs are out there every day. People are going to them. They read them. They believe in these people. They trust them. They built relationships with them, and they are looking for opinions about products that they like. And you know, all these platforms give them a place to have these discussions. And you know what we believe, and what I truly believe, is that the bloggers are the real power of social. In my opinion, don't get me wrong. You, me, your wife, women we know, and mostly women, we know that. You know, they're out there on all different platforms, all different mediums. So one of the things is we've started calling these people micromedia producers or publishers, because you can be publishing on Facebook as easily as you can be publishing on a blog, or using Uncram, which is a new platform that we've been using that aggregates content, or using you know, Pinterest. But yes, people are sharing, and it's part of what's important is that brands have lost that degree of control. That they need to allow this conversation to take place, because if your product's good, people are going to say good things about it, and if it's not, you should want to hear what the problems are.
So let's say from the flip side, how does a brand, a salesperson, actually engage with a consumer now? If I know me, for example, when I go to Best Buy, when I go to Apple, wherever I go, I know more about the product before I visit the store than the actual people selling the product. Why? Because I go online and I go through Twitter, I read my blogs, I speak to people who are smarter than I am, and I go there and I buy my product. And I don't really need a salesperson. Really, I don't need the brand to tell me this is great. So what do they do to engage me or to...
Well, they need to empower the consumer. Because the truth of the matter is, you're right. I mean, I've looked at some statistics. Salesmen are going the way of the dinosaur. Even in software sales companies, even in all these major companies that did consultative sales, because there's so much information, you can educate yourself. And you know, and we're talking about more complicated products. Let's look at things like handbags, shoes, clothing, food. It's not necessarily a hard sell that way, but salespeople need to be more about customer service. Need to be. I come in the store. What happens? You go to Home Depot. You can't find someone to help you, show you where things are. So that's one thing. Also, the frontline people have to become and be trained by the companies to be more aware of the fact of how easy it is for you and me to speak to the rest of the world right from that location on my mobile phone. And they have to be aware of that. They have to understand the capabilities we have, and that we will do that if we're not happy. And again, that doesn't mean being able to hold up a brand or expect special treatment. It means, because people understand that. If they hear you complaining because you didn't get something for free,
they'll try to do it too.
No, but they'll take it with a grain of salt. They'll go, oh, Ray just wants something for free. But if Ray just went to a store and couldn't find what he needed, there was nobody there to tell him what it is. So I think that's a real important point. And then I think we need to empower the consumer to be able to be our salesperson. I mean, that's who the real people are. And I was with a brilliant marketer the other day. His name's Rob Brooks. He is the CMO of Penco Insurance. He's based in Seattle. He has been the head on the board of WOMA, Word of Mouth Marketing Association, many times. And what he likes to say is no company can possibly scale a sales force, a customer service team, or internally, or employees to be that voice anymore. They need to empower the consumer and involve them in being their advocates. And more importantly, he's got a great line. He says, the real people I'm looking for, I know who my advocates are. I know, the path to purchase. He goes, I want to know who my defenders are. That dynamic advocate who steps up when someone says, I had a really bad experience somewhere, and this happened to me the other day. I was writing something about Delta, and I was just complaining. I wasn't angry. And they said, oh my God, they're going to take care of you right away. They're really good at that. And this was out of nowhere. Somebody tweeted that to me because they're a defender.
It's awesome.
And to me, it's empowering the consumer.
So how do you build this ambassador? I mean, that's what you're really looking for, right? I mean, every brand would love to have a consumer be that ambassador. It's a lot easier. But I know that for a fact that I'd rather believe you about Delta than Delta about Delta.
I think you have to ask them. You have to talk and engage with your consumer. You have to ask the net promoter question, which is how likely are you to recommend this brand? And then you need to recognize those people that say that they would be willing to recognize the brand.
Okay.
And you know, there are companies out there that do that. And then you have to speak to influencers and people that will authentically represent a brand, not represent it because they're getting paid for it.
Right.
Not give their advocacy for money.
Whatever.
Supply them influence because they believe in the product. And they like it.
So are we going to see less of the traditional salesperson and more of these ambassadors, these consumers that are really respecting and standing for the brand?
I think there's a big move in that direction, and I think that brands are starting to recognize that if they empower consumers, and I always use JetBlue, it's a great example. They're not making people happy every day. There's flights that are delayed, bags that are problems, but you know how many people they have, or Delta, that are supporting them because they're making this major effort to communicate with them, to engage them, to answer their questions, and to say, can't help you with that. I'm really sorry, but I hear you, and you know, we're doing our best.
And that's huge. I mean, I really think that most companies do not understand how big that is. That if I just say, whether it's a complaint, whether it's a comment, whether it's kudos to JetBlue, that if they respond and say thank you, great, you had a great experience, I'm very sorry you had a terrible experience, that is massive. Even though they can't help me, that is massive.
And another really important point is creating content around the brand that's legitimate, that's authentic, that's being created by influencers and their followers. Because you go to right now, recently we worked with TCBY introducing yogurt into Walmart.
Okay.
They have a consumer brand that's not, you know, it's packaged.
Okay.
And before we got involved, you Googled images on TCBY and you got brand pictures, you got pictures of TCBY. When you do it now, a few months after we got involved in this campaign, you see legitimate content. You see photos from blog posts. You see people at the stores enjoying themselves. And when you click through, they're on Pinterest and other places, and they're going through the real brand experiences. To me, that's where the future is.
That is authentic. I agree with you. All right, thank you so much.
It's great seeing you again.
All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. See you guys next time.